Welcome back, fellow Nerdazonians,
for episode 6.
the second last episode of the year.
Yay!
Yay! We actually made a whole season,
Woohoo!
nearly. So here we go. Okay, so the movie pick for this month was my pick.
Great movie choice.
Yeah, it's a movie that I have been wanting to see for a long time. I wanted to watch it at the movies, but I never got the chance. And they finally released it on Stan, so I was able to watch it. So we chose Big Sick. And this movie appealed to me from the trailer, and I really, really like Kumail Nanjiani, and it just seemed like a really funny but like heartwarming movie to watch. So the movie is based on Kumail's real life story of how he met the love of his life, his wife. It is set around his journey of pursuing his stand-up comedy, as well as dealing with the expectations of his family pushing him to follow cultural traditions, and just dealing with the situation, with medical situation his wife had been at the time been put into. So beautiful, beautiful story. It almost sounds unreal that it happened. It almost sounds fake, but it happened, and it's crazy to think that he went through that.
And that she went through that as well.
Well, I mean, she slept through most of it. I'm joking. That's bad. But it is. It's pretty crazy and just beautiful. And I love at the end they showed real pictures because Emily, she didn't actually want to be in the film, and she was cast by Kumail and Emily. They chose someone to play her. But it just, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because I got to meet Kumail and Emily. When I was last in the US, there was this comic book shop, and at the back of the comic book shop is a comedy club, and it was called The Meltdown. And for $10, I got to see, it was hosted by Kumail Nanjiani and Jonah Ray. And then there was comedians there, and then it was pretty awesome. And then at the end, they were selling like merchandise, and Emily was there, and I got to say hello to her, and it was pretty cool.
That is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I met some other comedians as well, But I really enjoyed this movie because it does reflect, how nerdy Kumail is in real life. And it was just, like you said, a really heartwarming movie. And I really don't like Ray Romano.
Loved him in this.
Yes.
Loved him. And it's the same with like Ben Stiller. I don't like his older stuff, but I love his new stuff where he was that more serious sort of actor. Same with Ray Romano in this. He was more of a serious character, and I
really liked Ray Romano as well. I appreciated him, and I think he did a really good job, and just everybody, it was just a really great movie.
Yeah, and the mum, I've forgotten the actress's name who played Emily's mum, but like she did it so well, of like a woman trying to keep her personal life together, and like between her and her husband, and then also what's happening between her daughter, who she's very close with, that they're like best friends, and to see this other person who is breaching that life, and you could see elements where she was cracking, which it made it feel real, because you try to keep your shit together, and she acted it so well.
She was great, absolutely. And the girl that did play Emily, she was fantastic as well. She was played by,
I know she's in It's Complicated. She's the second daughter. I like
Zoe
that
Kazan.
Yes.
So I thought she was played really well as well, and I really enjoyed this movie.
I did too, and I think if anyone's got the chance to go and watch it, really watch it. And it makes you reflect and think, wow, how lucky people are to get through what they can, and just to fight on. But it's a really good one. Please watch it, and let me know what you think if you guys like this pick as well.
Absolutely.
Just send us an email at nerdazons@outlook.com, or message us through Facebook or something. We'd love to hear.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that was my movie pick. Let's move on to Steph's TV pick of the month.
I'm so excited to do this. Finally, I'm doing Sense8.
You've only been talking about it for how long?
A while. And anybody who knows me knows that this show
is your life.
Is on par with Doctor Who.
Yes. It is.
So this show is my go-to show when I'm stressed or just want to watch something that I know how it's going to end, and it's just really great. So this show is about a group of 8 people around the world that are suddenly linked mentally and must find a way to survive being hunted by those who see them as a threat to the world's order. So the first episode, I will let you know that it is very hard to get into. I I've struggled, but then once I soldiered on through that, I went, oh, okay, and then watched it, and FYI, there is a lot of sexual content, so don't do what I did and watched it at work on my lunch break. No, so no. And there is a bit of violence and a bit of gore, but the storyline is fantastic. So they follow 8 people from around the world, and I like the fact that when they were in certain parts of the world, they were in Zimbabwe, so they had they had Zimbabwe actors and crew, and that they were trying to be as authentic as they could for each city or country that they were in. And there is a fun fact that it actually cost more to make per episode than it did for Game of Thrones season 1 and 2.
Wow, so that's insane.
Yeah, because it was very expensive to make, and you do fall in love with each character, and you root for each character, and it's just amazing. And that it's great because they have a wide, diverse of characters as the LGBTIQ plus community are involved. And you've got Sun Bak, who is from South Korea, and that she's struggling because her father owns a big company, and that the father wants her to take the fall for her brother. And then you've got Wolfgang, who is from Germany, and that he's struggling with his family, and he hates his father and things like that. It's really good.
It sounds like, do they all have like in common struggling with family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes and no. Then you've got Numi, who is transgender, and obviously has got troubles with her family as well, trying to come to terms with that. Lito Rodriguez is one of my favorites. He's an actor for the Mexican movies, and he's struggling with his sexuality because he is gay, but nobody in the real world knows about it. Then you've also got Will Gorski, who is a cop. He's really good at his job, but he has a few mental things going on. Then you've also got Carla, who is from India, and that she's had an arranged marriage and she doesn't know how she feels about her husband. Then you've also got Riley, who is from Iceland, who now lives in the UK, and she's a DJ, and she's got some issues going on there. So it's really a great show. I do highly recommend it. It's got such a sci-fi aspect to it, and I like the fact that when they're connected, they take on each other's personalities.
Oh, cool.
Which is awesome, because there's also another guy who Cafius. He's from Africa, and then he has he owns a car, a bus, and he takes people to and from, and that's how he makes his money. And he's obsessed with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he is especially connected to Sun, and he calls her the spirit of Jean-Claude, and because she can fight, and it's just really great. And the one thing I do have to I'm a bit disappointed about is the ending. Season 2 left us with the biggest cliffhanger and wasn't going to get renewed, and then what happens is we finally got it renewed, and we got a movie length episode. It was really rushed, which I understand that they only had a certain amount of time to do it, but it just was a bit disappointing and a bit but the ending of that made my heart just so happy at the end. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but yeah, so this is one of my all-time favorites. And I have to also admit that the reason why I actually got into it was the fact that Freema Agyeman was in it, who is Martha from Doctor Who. And yeah, she's brilliant in it as well. Yeah. So I'm going to stop now, otherwise I'll go on all day.
Keep talking. No, I'm glad you finally did that, because you love that series.
I really do. All right, let's move on to your TV choice.
Okay, so I actually chose a TV show that I really, really love as well. It's one of my go-tos, and it is a show that I literally have watched like 70 times in full.
Yeah.
I think my partner must hate when he comes home and it's just playing again, because once I finish it, I just restart it. It's my go-to for background noise. When I study, sometimes I want to have something in the background. I'll put that on. When I want to laugh, when I want to come home and not think. It's just a really good show, and the show is called Archer.
I started this. It's pretty good.
I love this series. So the series, it's one of those that you do kind of like with Archer's character, you do have to listen to some of the things he says because he's a bit of a smart ass and it will come back towards the end and bite everyone in the backside. Like when they just think, oh, he's just being an idiot again. And then it'll come back and they'll just be like annoyed because he's just as annoying and douchey as he's almost always right. And they hate to admit that. It's got brilliant voice actors. So H. John Benjamin is the voice of Archer, which makes it even more funnier. So if you like Bob's Burgers, he's Bob in that. He's in Family Guy as the like drugstore owner.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like, do you remember the episode where Chris gets a job? Well, Meg had the job with him first, and then he hires Chris because they get along. Yeah, so, and he's the voice in that, so he's a really great voice actor. I absolutely love him. Got Aisha Tyler in it, so she took over Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, you got Judy Greer, and the amazing Jessica Walter. So she plays the mum in Arrested Development. Characters are kind of very similar in the two series. I love all the characters. They're all messed up in their own way. So, like, the more and more you watch it, the more you focus on a certain character and you think, holy crap, you are crazy. You're a nut job. Like, Krieger's one of the best. Mallory Archer's one of the best. Like, Krieger's just this crazy scientist who does, like, random horrible experiments, but it's just, and then you've got this office worker who's just a girl who ends up being, like, this big underground, like, fighter or drifter, and it's messed up and I love it. So that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk about this. I think I've mentioned it before. I love watching cartoons, especially for voices. The way people say things will make me laugh, and that's one of these TV shows that will do that as well. So I just wanted to talk to you about something that I really, really like and I've watched a lot. So that was my TV pick. I haven't really got anything else on it to say.
No, I like, you came over the other day and you were just like, let's put Netflix on. Oh, let's just watch Archer. And I was just like, okay, I haven't really watched it before, but I'm like, oh, this is hilarious, and just my belly hurt because I was laughing
it's
so
much. Good. Like, and like things that are said in that I've incorporated. Like, it's funny story. Krieger, the crazy scientist, he'll, like, sometimes if he wants to leave an awkward situation to not explain some of his things, he'll just be like, smoke bomb, and he'll pretend to throw something on the floor like it's a smoke bomb, but then he'll just run out. And then I was talking with my twin and his fiance. They were talking about getting, like, smoke for, like, an engagement shot, and I immediately went smoke bomb, and I threw something on the ground, and she just, like, rolled her eyes because it's exactly what my twin did to her at the same time. So yeah, no, I just love it. It's a really good, funny series to just chill, and you don't even have to consecutively watch it. Like, you can leave it, like, start it, watch a few eps, leave it for 2-3 weeks, and think, oh, I might just watch that because I've got some time, and you can just keep watching it that way, and it's a really good series.
Yeah, so if you enjoy these shows or watch them, or if you've got your favorite Sense8 character, please let me know,
or any of your favorite Archer moments or characters, please let us know, or any of your favorite TV shows that you guys just like to watch. Let us know.
Absolutely.
Send us an email at nerdazons@outlook.com. Let's move on to Steph's fun facts. What have you got for us this month?
So this month I'm going to talk about the human body.
Ooh.
It's just it completely fascinates me to know
it's pretty
our
weird.
human body. All right, I'm just going to just jump right in. There's quite a few facts I have for you. I'm not going to read them all. So we'll just start off with some amazing baby facts. A fetus acquires fingerprints at the age of 3 months.
No way.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
A baby is born without kneecaps. They appear between the age of 2 and 6.
Really? That's freaky.
I know. And okay, so one part of your body that stops growing the moment you're born is your eyes.
Yeah, I knew that one.
And the reason why is because back in the caveman days, if you look at something that's cute, it's always got big eyes. If you look at something that's evil, it's always got small eyes.
Like a natural defense system.
So yeah, so that's right. So back in the day, when you couldn't afford to have your baby, or you couldn't keep it, so you'd abandon it or whatever. It's so that way when the baby looks at you, you just go, "Oh, you're so cute, I can't leave you." So yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to human bones, joints, and muscle facts. Your bones are compressed of 30% water.
Oh.
Your bones, pound for pound, are 4 times stronger than concrete.
Huh.
A muscle called the diaphragm controls the human breathing process, which we all know that one. Bones only make up 14% of our weight.
We can't blame it on I'm big boned then.
No, I wish. And at birth, we have over 300 bones, but as we grow up, some of the bones begin to fuse together. As a result, we only have 206 bones. All right, so now I also want to do some sleep and dreaming facts.
Oh.
You have no sense of smell when you're sleeping. You burn more calories while sleeping than you do when watching television. Sleeping less than 7 hours each night reduces your life expectancy.
Interesting.
I'm going to live forever then because I always sleep. In a year, on average, a person sleeps for 122 days out of 365. When you go to sleep, you enter REM, rapid eye movement. Our bodies become completely paralyzed as areas of the brain control the movement are deactivated. By age 60% of men and 40% of women will snore. And then I just want to move on to human brain facts. 80% of our brain is water. An average adult male brain weighs about 1,375 grams. A neglected child brain can substantially be smaller than a brain of a healthy child.
Aww.
Any damage to brain cells are not repaired completely. The brain is much more active at night than it is during the day, and the brain itself cannot feel pain. And I'm just going to do one or two more just on the human nose facts. Our nose is a personal air conditioning system. It warms cold air and cools hot air, filtering impurities. And your nose can remember up to 50,000 different scents.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting facts in there. Like when you're reading, I'm just like sitting there like going, yeah, that's interesting. Like you don't know this stuff about your body until you read it.
And just one other last fact. You can smell 1/20th as well as a dog.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I know.
That's like pretty cool.
The human body
is an amazing thing.
Absolutely.
It's very complicated too.
And I have just one more. So every organ that you have 2 of, you can live with just 1.
Yes. Yes. That's pretty cool. Wow. You chose some really good facts.
I know, right? I'm quite impressed with those ones.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
move on. I want to get scared again.
Okay, so this month I am doing My Penny Dreadful on the Black Dahlia. So her name is Elizabeth Short, or more commonly known as the Black Dahlia. Mm-hmm. So she was an American woman who was found murdered in the Leimert Park neighborhood of LA, California. Her case became highly publicized due to the graphic nature of the crime, which included her corpse being mutilated and severed at the waist.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why, I'm sorry to digress for a second, but I just started watching American Horror Story, and when she's in the lift and she has a theory, I don't want to get Black Dahlia.
Yes. So you actually like kind of cut ahead of me. I was actually going to say like that. No, don't apologize. Like I like that you know a little bit, like because then we can have a quick chat on it. So it actually became a term after her murder. You just said like it's a term. I don't want to have the Black Dahlia happen to me. So it's more so she's famous because of what had happened to her. So Short is from Boston originally. She spent some time in Florida and Massachusetts as a child before moving back to California, and it was well known that she was an aspiring actress. However, she had no known acting credits or jobs during her time in LA. So Short's unsolved murder and the details surrounding it had a lasting cultural intrigue, generating various theories and public speculation. Her life and death have been the basis of so many books and films, and her murder is frequently cited as one of the most unsolved murders in American history, as well as one of the oldest unsolved cases in the LA County.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. It has been credited by historians as one of the first major crimes in post-World War II America to capture national attention. Which is pretty cool. So on that note, like I said, many books and films. So yes, There is a very short cameo. Again, you guys are probably thinking I just got all my Penny Dreadfuls from American Horror Story. I swear no. I listen to lots of different history podcasts and they do it on these as well.
But also, it's about American horror. So that's why American Horror Story.
And they take it, they get a lot of elements from these. The elements that they're taking from these stories are so creepy and diabolical and evil. And that's why I want to tell you guys about, the actual story, not from a TV show. So, yeah, there was actually a film, and I'm pretty sure Josh Hartnett was in the film. I never watched it. I just remember my mum had the DVD, and I just remember seeing the case. It was a white case with just, a woman's face on it. And I'm pretty sure Josh Hartnett was in a film from it as well. So, yes, it is definitely widely known for TV shows and things like that. So, on the morning of January 15, 1947, Short's naked body was found severed in 2 pieces on a vacant lot in the west side of South Norton Avenue, midway between Coliseum Street and West 39th Street in Leimert Park, LA. American street names really, really confuse me, I'm just going to say. It's so confusing. At that time, it's the 40s, it was very underdeveloped, so it was quite a big undeveloped park area. So a local resident by the name of Betty Bersinger discovered the body at approximately 10 a.m. while she was walking her 3-year-old daughter.
Oh.
I know, it's not a very fun thing to... hopefully the 3-year-old has a really bad memory and doesn't remember it. Bersinger initially thought she had found a discarded store mannequin, which, side note before I continue, if you go onto Wikipedia, really, really great thing, if you look at the picture... It's not super, super graphic because they didn't have great cameras then. It actually did look like a mannequin.
Really?
In the picture that I saw. So we'll try and link that into the Facebook page. But I know Steph can't wait. She wants to look now. She's Googling it. So, but it actually did look like a mannequin. As soon as she realized it was a corpse, she went back home and quickly called the cops. Or police, sorry. I should say police more accurately. Short's severely mutilated body was completely severed at the waist and drained entirely of blood. So it left her skin a pallid white. Medical examiners determined that she had been dead for around 10 hours prior to the discovery, leaving her time of death either sometime during the evening of January 14 or the early morning hours of January 15. Speechless looking at that picture. Do you see what I mean? How it looked like, it just looked like a mannequin, 2 pieces of a mannequin. Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
To all our listeners out there who can't see this, we will link to Wikipedia, I think, in case you're a bit squeamish and don't want to have a look.
Yeah.
And it's up to you if you decide to click into it and have a look. So the body had obvious signs of being washed by the killer, so they had cleaned her down. This is the most famous part of it. Short's face had been slashed from the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating an effect known as the Glasgow smile. Continued mutilation to her body, whoever that person was. She had several cuts on her thigh and breasts where entire portions of flesh had been sliced away. The lower body, half of her body, was positioned a foot away from the upper part of her body, and her intestines had been tucked neatly beneath her buttocks. So they had
WTF.
Yeah, they had just neatly placed it. So they obviously had time to put her body in a specific position.
Maybe because it's maybe because it was, such a long time ago, but what about fingerprints and
Yeah, I don't know when fingerprinting really started. This is now something that we're going to have a look into. Yeah. We're going to Google this because it'll bug me. But
or maybe just gloves.
The corpse had been posed with her hands over her head and her elbows bent at right angles and her legs were spread apart. During the autopsy, it was discovered that due to minimal bruising around her midsection, that the cut occurred after she died. So thankfully she wasn't alive for that. However, the cause of death was determined to be hemorrhaging from the lacerations to her face and the shock from a blow to the head. So she was likely hit, still sort of alive, and then the the Glasgow Smile had happened, and then she had died due to that. After the discovery of her body in January 15, 1947, the LA Police Department began an extensive investigation that produced over 150 suspects, but yielded no arrests.
Wow.
Yeah, so they just couldn't find anything to pinpoint it to someone. So I have to round up on a really interesting thing on how she coined the term the Black Dahlia. So she acquired the nickname of the Black Dahlia posthumously, so after death, after the owner of a drugstore in Long Beach, California, told reporters that male customers had that name for her. As newspapers of the period at that time, they used to nickname particularly lurid crimes. The term may have originated from a film noir murder mystery, The Blue Dahlia, which released in April 1946, the year prior. So they just changed it to the Black Dahlia.
Wow.
Yeah, another sad penny dreadful of a poor girl who is famous more so for her death.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking to know that she's only famous because she died, and that she didn't get to do any acting
what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I listened to a lot of history podcasts, and a lot of the really good murder stories and stuff, they quite often occurred between like 1850 to 1950, that 100-year gap, because it was so easy for you to do something and no evidence can prove you. Even there was a massive time where there was a lot of insurance claims on like life insurance claims and killing people,
and like you said, people needed bodies for experimenting and for medical purposes.
And it was easy to hide a body because obviously development, you could easily cover and hide a body, and it just without having what we have today for evidence. It's just crazy, and that's why I think a lot of it occurs at that time, a lot of the really interesting stories that I
absolutely.
find. Glad you liked that one.
I did. I did.
That's good. I'm glad. I always like to read these too.
Yep.
You're like the one person I angle these for. Like I always sit there and think, what's Steph gonna like? I'm sorry, listeners, I don't put you guys first, but I always think of what Steph's gonna like.
Thanks.
Because I just love your reactions. They're the best.
Thanks.
They're interesting.
They're creepy.
Creepy AF.
Absolutely. And I just need to say that since the October one with the murder castle, I did watch American Horror Story, and I got really freaked out with the gas chambers being in the house.
Yeah, because we watched it together, the first episode.
And I just had nightmares. Not nightmares, but just a really uneasy sleep after watching that. And I was like, oh, thanks, Ange.
Good. I'm glad. You're my number one fan.
Woo!
And I'm your number one fan.
Yeah.
Still think the William Shatner, fun fact, is my by far the favourite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is my favourite fact.
And I have to say, Madame Lalaurie is the creepiest. I was telling my mum about it, and there's a video online of 10 facts about her. I got into 3 facts, and I'm like, nah. And then my mum, I was like, oh, Mum, this is it. And she was like, this is awesome. Anything else you can give me about her? And she was so just enthralled by her. And I ended up watching the entire video on YouTube, and wowie, that lady was horrible.
Yeah. She was
horrible.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we don't have any listener mail this week, but we do want to round up saying that our next episode is going to be the final for season 1. We made it through to season 1.
Yay!
And it's going to be a Christmas theme one. So ready yourselves for a Christmas special season final.
Yes, I've got so many facts about Christmas. I can't wait to tell everybody. All right.
We'll see you in the next episode. Also, don't forget, we're on Facebook and Instagram. You can email us at nerdazons@outlook.com.
We're on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Please give us a like and a thumbs up, and let us know if you're enjoying it.
Yeah, please. All right. See you next time, guys.